Hello and welcome back to the Uncharted franchise. Last time we covered the incredible Uncharted 2, so if you haven't watched that video, I would recommend watching it before this video. Today we'll be talking about Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception, released on November 1st, 2011, and sold 3.8 million copies on its first day, which compared to Uncharted 2 that only sold 537,000 copies in its first month, it's very good. The higher sales could be due to the much heavier advertising for this game.
Hey, I'm Nathan Drake. If you're the adventurous type like me, then get in on the Subway Taste for Adventure for a chance to win epic trips and exclusive access to Uncharted 3. Get your code on 30-ounce drinks today. Subway, where winners eat. Now.
While being nominated for Game of the Year in 2011, Uncharted 3 was ultimately beat out by Skyrim. And as I've mentioned in the previous two videos, this game has the best version of Nate's theme. The song has reached its full potential to the point that they just completely change it for Uncharted 4. Anyway, let's get right into it.
I'm about to bomb this whole motherfucking plane.
The game begins with yet another quote, but this time around it's narrated by Nathan.
All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night, in the dusty recesses of their minds, wake in the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.
We fade from that to Nate and Sully looking dapper as hell on the London streets when they enter a bar. They go upstairs and meet with John Talbot, played by Robin Atkin Downes, and one of his henchmen, Charlie Cutter, played by Graham McTavish, returning to the series after voicing Lazarevich in Uncharted 2. Talbot's client wants to buy Sir Francis Drake's ring for a huge sum of money, but after handing over the ring, Nate notices that the money is fake. Nate goes to take the ring back, and as he and Sully go to leave, Cutter stops them, and Nate and Sully have to fight off Talbot's men. The game has a tutorial on the slightly new melee combat mechanics. In the previous two games, the player will just mash square and then the enemy will grab you in slow motion and then you just have to press triangle to break out. Now, there's no slow motion, so you have to react faster and mash circle to break free from an enemy's grasp, but you can also press circle to grab enemies yourself. They elaborated more on the melee combat in this game, but honestly all these new melee mechanics just disincentivizes using the melee combat even further than the first two games. Before, if you wanted to save a bullet or two, you could just run up to an enemy and take them out in like 2 punches. But with all these new steps, it's really not worth saving the ammo, because it takes so long to defeat just one enemy, and you'll probably end up being killed from the other enemy fire, just trying to take out one guy. And speaking of being killed by the new melee mechanics, multiple times throughout this game, I was trying to get behind cover on extremely low health when I hit the circle button, and instead of going under cover, I grabbed a random enemy instead of ducking, and got killed. Anyway, Nate and Sully defeat all of Talbot's men, and then a huge guy walks in and throws Nate through a window.
Quick, hit him! Bad idea, Grandpa. Damn it! Get him!
The entire bar erupts into a massive brawl, and after defeating everybody else, the big guy comes back and tackles Nate into the bathroom, and after a quick fight, Nate smashes the toilet tank lid over the guy's head, and he and Sully both leave out the back door, but Cutter is there waiting for them in the alley. He beats Nate and Sully to the ground, and Talbot pulls up in a car with the vegan teacher?
So I asked my husband, who would you rather have sex with? That vegan nurse, that meat teacher Ms. Tofu, or me? And his response was...
This is Catherine Marlowe, played by Rosalind Ayers.
Not very dignified for a man of your age.
Should have known you'd be behind this. Oh, careful now. Wouldn't want you to melt.
Same cocky little shit. So fearless. I wonder what you're really afraid of. Not bullets or blood or broken bones. No. You get off on all this, don't you? Cheating death. Or not.
No.
Mr. Sullivan, I won't harm your precious boy. I merely want what's mine.
Give me that back.
Cutter!
Nate and Sully are shot by Cutter and presumed dead when we flash back to a young Nathan in Colombia 20 years ago. He enters a museum called the Pirate Francis Drake. He goes upstairs and sees Sir Francis Drake's ring along with a decoding device in a glass case together. He writes some notes in his notebook and notices a man unlocking the case with the ring just as he's kicked out of the museum for whatever reason. I guess he needed to buy a ticket or something. Outside of the museum, young Nate follows the man who unlocked the case through the town in the worst kind of mission, a trailing mission. Seriously, if any person can think of a single good trailing mission in any game, please let me know, because I don't think that a single one exists. Nate finds the man and steals his wallet with the museum cabinet key inside. The man catches him and compliments his pickpocketing skills.
Let's try that again.
Let go of me.
Ah, that's what I thought. Now don't try to run. You're a long way from home, son.
Don't call me that.
Parents must be worried about you.
Yeah, not likely.
Okay, sore subject. That was a nice lift back there. You're pretty good.
I don't know what you're talking about, old man.
Hey, don't call me that. Your technique is really sloppy, though. You're telegraphing all your moves.
Nate goes back to the museum at night and breaks in through a window. He unlocks the case, and just as he's about to take the ring, the man catches him with a younger Marlo and her men. Marlo slaps Nate and is about to backhand him, but the man stops her, and Nate runs away as Marlo's men chase him. Since the developers are pretty confident that you've played the previous two games, the player uses all of the climbing skills they've acquired throughout the past two games to outrun all of the enemies in an actually really fun chase scene. Just as Nate is about to get away, he's met by possibly the creepiest henchman of all time.
Look what we have here. Whoops. You all right? What are you shaking for? Just close your eyes. This won't hurt a bit.
Come on. You're okay, kid. You can relax, kid. We're safe here. Go on. Suit yourself. You don't want it.
What do you want from me?
A little gratitude would be nice. I did just save your ass back there.
Thanks. But what's in it for you? I mean, you're a crook, right? You gotta have an angle.
You are one piece of work, kid. What's your story, anyway?
Look, mister. No offense, but I don't even know you.
Easily remedied. Victor Sullivan. This should be the part where you introduce yourself.
So yeah, this man is Sully, and this is the first time Nate and Sully ever meet each other. Young Nathan explains the treasure of the game, some mysterious treasure hidden by Sir Francis on one of his many journeys. We get another transition joke like at the beginning of Uncharted 2.
I see great things in our future, kid. Great things.
This is when we get the reveal that Cutter was working with Nate and Sully the whole time. This is also when we get the knowledge that Cutter is claustrophobic. Nate, Sully, and Cutter meet up with Chloe, and she tells them that Talbot is hiding in a garage down the street. But when the group goes to ambush them, they find there's no one there, not even the cars. They find 4 pressure plates and 2 light sensors that when all used together as if a car was there, a secret entrance opens up to some tunnels that lead to an old library, where they find Marlowe and Talbot trying to use the ring with the decoding device when they find out that Cutter betrayed them and gave them a fake ring. They leave to find him, and Nate uses the real ring with the decoder to find a secret message of Sir Francis Drake's old ship. Marlowe's men show up and attack the group when Nate finds a map leading to Arabia. Nate, Sully, and Cutter leave the library and fight a ton of enemies in an abandoned subway station before meeting up with Chloe and escaping.
See, before Lawrence became Lawrence of Arabia...
Great film.
He was an archaeologist. And even when he was just a kid, he was obsessed with history, everything to do with knights and the Crusades. And he traveled all over, documenting every Crusader site he could find. It's all in here.
All right, you've lost me completely, kid. What the hell has this got to do with Drake?
I'm getting to that. See, after the war, Lawrence said that if he were ever to go back to Arabia, it would be to search for this place he called the Atlantis of the Sands. Now, the legend crops up over and over again under different names. Ubar, Aram of the Pillars, the City of Brass. But the story is always the same.
Well, city of immeasurable wealth, destroyed by God for its arrogance, swallowed forever in the sands of the Rubel Khali Desert.
Right here.
Well, I like the immeasurable wealth part anyway.
And you think this is what Elizabeth and Dee sent Drake after?
Oh, yeah. And more importantly, it's what Marlowe is after. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was that?
No, hang on a second. Because if you recall, the last time we went halfway around the world searching for a lost city, things got more than a little dicey.
Yeah, but this time we have the upper hand. I mean, look, Drake only had half the clues. Lawrence only had half. We have both. And Marlowe has nothing.
Small problem. The Rubel Khali Desert, 600 miles across. The Bedouin go around the damn thing.
And even if we knew where it was, which we don't, we would die trying to find
Just
it.
hold on. You see these symbols here?
Yeah? Looks like Sabaean
Sabaean
script.
script. Right. Look, the Crusaders were searching for the same lost city 1,000 years ago. But out of all the sites Lawrence documented, only 2 are marked with these symbols. One in Syria, the other in France.
So Cutter and Chloe go to Syria and Nate and Sully head to France. They find a huge abandoned overgrown mansion when they go inside and move some statues to find a secret entrance where the floor breaks and Nate falls into a cave. He gets out as Talbot and his men arrive. Nate and Sully defeat them and go to a tower next to the mansion to find more clues. They find the body of one of Talbot's men, but the body looks like it's been there for years, even though they've only been there for a few minutes. Sooner than all the others, Uncharted 3 is already setting up the supernatural elements of the game. Nate and Sully find an actually really good puzzle where you have to walk to the other side of the room on pressure plates while only stepping on the ones with the correct symbols in a certain order, which opens up another entrance to John Dee's secret lab. Nate and Sully move the table to reveal a hole in the floor. They go down into another cave and find another great puzzle. These puzzles actually take a bit of brain power, as opposed to the first 2 games where you just do exactly what the notebook tells you to do. In Uncharted 3, they give you a tiny bit of information and then you just have to figure out what it means. They aren't particularly difficult, but the extra effort makes it that much more satisfying when you finally get it. Nate solves the puzzle and enters yet another secret room with a coffin in it, and he finds an amulet on the body. Well, actually, half of one. Nate and Sully assume that the other half of the amulet is in Syria, so they go to leave and contact Chloe and Cutter when Talbot finds them. Giant spiders fill the room, but fire repels them. Sully's torch is going out, so they have to get out of there fast. Nate and Sully run out of the cave to find Talbot's men setting the mansion on fire. This begins yet another amazing spectacle in the Uncharted series. Nate and Sully fight tons of Talbot's men as the entire building burns and crumbles around them. This whole section is absolutely incredible, but I almost never hear it brought up when talking about the big Uncharted set pieces. When people think of Uncharted 3, they only think of the plane sequence, and rightfully so, but Uncharted 3 might have the most huge action scenes out of any single Uncharted game. Nate and Sully escape the collapsing building and catch their breath outside. Nate and Sully head to Syria to find Chloe and Cutter, who aren't answering their phones. Nate goes inside when we first get to use this game's best new feature, the grenade throwback mechanic. The most frustrating part of the last 2 games was when you're almost dead and then an enemy throws a grenade and you have to move and then you immediately get shot and die. Now using this little skill check meter, you can throw the grenade back and stay in cover. Nate and Sully run into Chloe and Cutter.
What the hell?
Why aren't you in France?
We're rescuing you?
From what?
We thought you were captured.
Or worse.
Wait, why?
Talbot ambushed us at the chateau. It was a trap.
Yeah, we figured they must have followed you too.
Well, yeah, they're definitely here.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we might want to think about keeping it down a little.
What happened to you 2? We've been trying to reach you for over 24 hours.
Oh, right, I need to top up my minutes.
You're using a prepaid phone?
Mate, those contracts are a complete rip-off.
What? Mine's broken.
Again?
Look, just forget all that. You'll never guess what we've discovered. I've got it all in here. Not only did Elizabeth's spy network stretch all the way over here, but they were all part of some sort of hermetic secret society. The British Occult Secret Service, the School of Night, the Hellfire Club, the Order of the Golden Dawn, they're all connected.
So John Dee...
And Francis Walsingham and Walter Raleigh and even your mate Drake, they were all in on it. But for them, it was all about the power. Controlling their enemies through espionage, deception, fear.
Hey, guys.
Wait. So Marlowe and her crew...
Are the same secret order 400 years on.
We cut to the goddamn chase, please.
Yeah, we really need to keep moving.
Sure. Here, look. Quod est superius.
Est secret quod est inferius. As above, so below.
That's the key to all of this.
We need to get to the highest point of this castle.
Thus, the stairs.
Well done.
So Nate, Sully, Cutter, and Chloe go to the highest point of the castle, where they find they have to follow the Big Dipper to an entrance across the castle. Nate and Cutter separate from Chloe and Sully and find that they're at the wrong entrance. They find some more of Talbot's men and regroup with Chloe and Sully, and they all go to the next clue. Just then, Cutter is shot with a dart by Talbot, and whatever's in the dart makes Cutter do exactly what Talbot says. Cutter gives Talbot the notebook with all of Nate's information, and Talbot walks around the corner. The group goes to chase him, but he's gone. Absolutely nowhere he could have snuck away at. He walks into a dead end and just vanishes. Clearly there's something going on with Talbot, right? Cutter's freaking out, but the gang convinces him to go with them. They go into a cave, and now drugged, Cutter's claustrophobia is in full effect.
Oh God, it's closing in. It's closing in. I just stop it. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I've got to get out.
They have to make it to the other side of the cave, and Cutter freaks out and almost kills Nathan.
Charlie, no! Stop! Charlie, Cutter!
Charlie! No!
Get back!
Don't! Charlie, you're killing Nate. Okay, you gotta listen to me. You are killing Nate. Charlie! Jesus.
The gang go deeper into the cave and find the second half of the amulet. Cutter puts the amulet in his pocket, and when they leave the cave, Talbot is there waiting for them.
Drop your weapons.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well then, what a dilemma. We seem to be equally matched. Until the rest of my men show up, that is.
We can wait.
Oh no. Guys?
Charlie?
Oh, God damn it.
Oh, that changes things a bit, doesn't it? Now drop your guns.
Why don't you go...
Cutter, shoot him.
No.
Wait. Just stop. Okay?
Now that's better, isn't it? Shoot him.
You son of a
Cutter,
bitch.
pull the trigger. My pleasure.
So Cutter faked being under the influence of the dart and shoots Talbot right in the chest. The gang run away from Talbot's men, and everybody jumps across a gap onto some scaffolding, but it breaks before Cutter can escape. And just then, Talbot shows up, completely unharmed. He just got shot in the chest less than a minute ago, but now he's here, with not even a bullet hole in his clothes, further setting up that there's obviously something up with Talbot. Talbot takes the half of the amulet, and Marlowe shows up.
Oh, Cutter. I had such high hopes for you.
Yeah, right.
It's true. You had potential. Now, well, it's funny how things work out, isn't it? You betray my trust, and now we find ourselves here. As if it were in the cards all along.
Charlie, don't.
Shit.
No.
Charlie jumps down a huge drop and only breaks his leg when he 100% should have died. The group fight off Talbot's men and escape the castle on a tour bus, and unfortunately, this is the last time we see Chloe in this game, and even more unfortunately, this is the last time we see Cutter ever. Besides a quick mention of him in Uncharted 4, this is the last time that Charlie Cutter is ever seen.
So what's the plan, kid?
Guess I'm going to Yemen. You up for it?
Of course I am.
Alright, we gotta find a quick way in. No hassles.
Think I might know someone we could call?
Who? Oh, no. No.
You got a better idea, I'm all ears.
What about... No. Fine. Make the call.
Nate and Sully go to Yemen and meet up with Elena. So we learn that Nate and Elena were married between this game and Uncharted 2, but have since split up for an unknown reason. Elena also expresses concern for Sully's well-being if he's going to keep going along with Nate and all these highly dangerous missions. Nate, Sully, and Elena go through the town and they see Talbot on a roof holding Nate's notebook. Nathan goes to get it back and Elena and Sully stay behind. Talbot catches Nate following him, and in their fight, Nate takes the notebook back and fights off some of his men in the first melee-only fist fight of the game. The gang run away and they find a well that they think might have a secret entrance inside it. We get another cool puzzle that unlocks a secret entrance, 2 staircases open, and Nate solves not one, but 2 great puzzles. I think that besides possibly The Lost Legacy, Uncharted 3 has the best puzzles of the entire series. All of them are different, and not a single one is just follow exactly what's on the paper, like the first 2 games. After completing both puzzles, a door unlocks and Nate lights up a globe that shows the stars on the ceiling that Nate thinks are the stars above the location of the treasure. Sully memorizes the stars. Just then, the spiders show up again, and the group escapes.
It's all in English.
Yeah, it must have been Drake.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Drake sails thousands of miles looking for this Atlantis of the Sands. And when he gets this far, what he finds here is enough to make him turn around, sail home, and hide all evidence of his voyage.
Right.
But you're gonna keep going, aren't you?
Yeah?
For what? For treasure? Sully, he listens to you. Please make him stop.
Yes, Sully, please, tackle me.
What is wrong with you two?
Elena, come on, we're just joking around.
Listen, you've won, okay? You've outsmarted her. You know where to find the city, and Marlowe doesn't. Why can't that be enough?
They leave, and Nate is hit with one of Talbot's darts. He starts freaking out and runs away from Elena and Sully. Nate wakes up sitting at a table with Marlowe and Talbot, and she reveals a ton of information that Nathan told her while he was drugged, including that Sully knows the stars. Nate gets up and chases after Talbot. Eventually, Nate catches up with Talbot, and they fight. Midway through their fight, one of Talbot's henchmen knocks Nate out, and he wakes up on a boat with the same henchman named Ramses in front of him.
It is really a simple question. Aram of the Pillars.
Of course.
Where is it?
I don't know, buddy.
Bullshit.
Look, even if I did know, my life wouldn't be worth very much once I told you, now would it?
You insult me.
You're a pirate.
And a good businessman. Give me some respect. Let's try this again. Where is Aram, Nathan?
Look, you can torture me all you want.
Okay,
But I can't tell you what I don't know.
maybe so. We'll see if your friend is more cooperative.
What? Who?
Your friend, Victor Sullivan. I don't want to do this. At his age, it may be too much for him.
Wait.
No. You have given me no choice. Perhaps your friend will be more grateful for his life.
Nate defeats Ramses' men and goes to find Sully. He leaves the room and one of my personal favorite fights in the whole series happens. With a ton of enemies, practically every enemy type in the game attacks Nate in this awesome ship graveyard. Whenever I think about this game's combat, I think about this encounter right here. After that, Nate spots Ramses on another ship called the C-Word and assumes that Sully is on it. So he ziplines down to it, and hey, I get the argument for this whole part of the game being pointless, as you'll see in a little bit, but something about this whole section of the game is just so good to me. That's the thing about Uncharted 3, is that you can nitpick it into oblivion, but at the end of the day, it's just so fun. Nate finds the room where Ramses is holding Sully and finds out that Sully was never there. Just then, Ramses shows up. Nathan accidentally blows up some sort of machine, blowing a huge hole in the ship. Nate runs out of the sinking ship in yet another amazing action spectacle in this game. I feel like I never hear anybody bring this part up, same as the house fire. They're so great that it's actually crazy nobody ever talks about them. Just as Nate's about to make it out, Ramses finds him and shoots out a huge window. Nate runs out with the hallway spinning around him Inception style, and he jumps out and washes up on shore in a random town. Nate somehow finds Elena's exact room in this random town, and she tells him that Sully's being taken on a cargo ship to the desert. So Nate and Elena make a plan to stow away on one of their cargo planes, as Nate tells Elena that he's sorry for how things ended between them. And later that night, they arrive at the airport, fight a few of Marlowe's men, and Elena drives Nate up to the plane just like how she drove him up to the train in Uncharted 2. They even point it out.
Hey! Deja vu, right?
Yeah.
Nate gets on the plane and waits until morning to make his move, and he instantly gets spotted. This guy tries to throw Nate out of the plane, but Nate unfastens some cargo and knocks the guy and himself out of the plane. This is the single most iconic moment in the entire franchise. Even if people don't know what Uncharted is, they know this sequence. I mean, this is a sequence that they chose to copy for the movie. So Nate gets back on the plane, and a huge hole breaks in the side of it. Nate gets sucked out and flies through the air.
Oh, thank God.
Nate goes to the wreckage of the plane, and we probably get the coolest shot in the whole series of Nate standing in front of the wreckage. Nate wanders through the desert and finds a dried up well. He keeps walking for at least 2 whole days, and he hallucinates Sully in an oasis, before stumbling upon a ghost town where Marlowe's men just so happen to be. As he's fighting them off, some men on horses show up and rescue Nate. They take Nate back to their camp and tell him this.
3,000 years ago, King Solomon commanded the power of the Jinn. Demons, born of smokeless fire, until they rebelled. He imprisoned them in a vessel of brass and cast it into the depths of the city. Iran became a place of evil, cursed by the tormented spirits of the Jinn. The English must not reach the city. If they unleash the power of the Jinn...
We don't have much time, do we?
No. But they have the greater numbers. We cannot attack them in the open. Tonight, rest. Tomorrow, they enter the canyons. We'll take them there.
So Marlowe and Talbot don't actually want treasure, they want the power of the Jinn, further setting up a supernatural element for the end of the game. So Nate and Salim go to stop the convoy from reaching the city of Ubar, or whatever it's called. The whole game they either call it Ubar, Aram of the Pillars, or Atlantis of the Sands. Anyway, we get another great Uncharted on-the-rails sequence as Nate and Salim go to stop the convoy and rescue Sully on horseback. This one is different from the one in Uncharted 2 in the way that Nate isn't jumping from truck to truck. He's defeating who's ever on individual trucks and then getting back on his horse to move further up the convoy. Eventually, Nate finds Sully at the front of the convoy, and Nate, Sully, and Salim head to the city to stop Marlowe and Talbot from fighting the Jinn. Nate and Sully get separated from Salim in a dust storm and have a huge fight with the rest of the convoy before finally entering Ubar. Nate has a drink of water from the fountain, and just as things seem to be looking up for them, this happens.
What? No. No. Please. Sully.
Talbot kills Sully. Nate sees him and Marlowe go down an elevator, and Nate chases after them. As Nate is fighting off Marlowe's men, their heads erupt in flames with no smoke. Born of smokeless fire, these are the Jinn. Nate finds himself transported back to when he was a kid, but the spiders are there, and Nate has to shoot Sully in the face as Sully is taking place with the creepy henchman from earlier. He sees his reflection acting strange in the water, and just then he snaps out of it, and fights off more of Marlowe's men, and walks into a room when...
That you, kid? Oh, thank God. You all right? Man, I had a hell of a time. What's the matter with you?
How do I know you're real? Ow!
That real enough for you? Don't ever point a gun at me again.
I saw them shoot you. Right after the eclipse.
What? What eclipse? Look, kid, you went nuts right after you drank from that fountain. It's the water. That's what destroyed the city. Not the wrath of God. The whole water supply is tainted with some sort of hallucinogenic agent.
So yeah, that's the second time that they've faked Sully's death in the past 3 games. I don't think you're allowed to do that. It's completely believable to think that Sully died in this scene, since the game has been hinting towards it the whole time. And then they fake us out again.
I don't want to be around anymore.
So Nate and Sully fight off a few of Marlowe's men when they find them trying to bring up the brass bottle, possibly containing the gin, out of the water. Talbot finds and knocks Sully into the water, and Nate dives in to save him. Nate sees the bottle with these etchings on the lid and decides to shoot the crane with the torpedo gun that Sully found earlier. The bottle sinks into the water, and Nate fires the remaining torpedoes at Marlowe and Talbot. The city begins to crumble as Marlowe and Talbot run away. And I just have to point out that through this whole game, Marlowe's men have zero self-preservation instincts. Like now, they're staying back to fight Nate in a crumbling city, and earlier they were willing to stay back and fight Nate in a burning building, and on a plane that was actively crashing. Nate and Sully run into Marlowe and Talbot, and the floor breaks, and Marlowe's caught in quicksand. Marlowe begs/guilt trips Nate into saving her, and he tries to pull her out with his gun holster, but she sinks anyway, along with the ring. As Nate and Sully are escaping the city, Talbot shows up and attacks Nate in an admittedly pretty awful boss fight. And right before Talbot is about to stab Nathan, Sully shoots Talbot, and Nate falls as Talbot starts attacking Sully, and Talbot is about to hit Sully in the head with a big rock when Nate shoots and kills Talbot. Just then, Salim shows up and saves Sully and Nate, and they all ride away as the city completely sinks into the sand.
Hey, hold up a minute, Nate.
You okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I just got something needs saying, that's all.
All right. What is it?
Look, I had a lousy father, a lousy childhood. I hit 40, I figured I was never gonna have a son of my own. Hell, I never wanted one. What the hell do I know about raising a kid? Then you came barreling into my life.
Look, you don't have to.
No, listen, I do. I have made a lot of mistakes, kid. A lot. And, well, I am not a perfect man.
You're not proposing, are you, Sully? I mean, I love you, but...
Stop. Just stop being a wise ass for 1 second.
How long you been carrying that around?
Too long.
Thought I'd lost it.
Here's the thing, kid. We don't get to choose how we start in this life. Real greatness, it's what you do with the hand you're dealt.
Hey.
Hey. Going somewhere?
Maybe. I'm really sorry about your ring.
Yeah. It's all right. I swapped it for something better. Let's get out of here, huh?
Yeah.
Come on, we're this way.
But...
Come on. Trust me.
What are you up to?
No way.
It's not as nice as the one you two wrecked 4 years ago, but it'll do. Come on. Let's see if I can remember how to fly the goddamn thing.
Hey, this has parachutes, right?
Oh, yeah. 3. More or less.
And that's Uncharted 3. And besides a few hiccups along the way, I would say that it was all pretty good. Okay, let's address this game's most obvious problem. Talbot. What happened? So first, Nate and Sully find one of his men completely rotted after only being dead for a few minutes. And then he dematerializes behind a corner, and then gets shot by Cutter just to show up less than a minute later completely unharmed. He has a hallucinogenic drug that works exactly like the Ubar poisoned water, and they set up everything with him and the Jinn, and then nothing. He's not revealed as anything. He's just a guy.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
So this is my theory. So Uncharted 3 was being made alongside The Last of Us, which is a much more serious game. And originally there was going to be a big reveal with Talbot being supernatural, but then a creative shift in the direction of Naughty Dog's games led to them forcing the Uncharted 3 team to change the ending, but not having enough time to cut out all the earlier stuff. But that's just my theory. Other than that, man, Uncharted 3 is just too fun for me to really care about all the problems like that. Uncharted 3 has the best action, great combat, and most importantly, the most Sully. So even though it does have a lot of problems, I still absolutely love Uncharted 3. So for today, I'll be giving Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception, an 8 out of 10.